All right, let's jump right in. Today we're tackling a massive challenge for growing CPA firms. How do you scale up without everything turning into total chaos? We're going to explore how rethinking your firm's operational engine can actually transform those growing pains into some really powerful momentum. So, let's start with a question that probably feels a little too familiar. You're winning new clients, revenue's climbing, but does it actually feel like success? Or, does it feel more like you're on a treadmill that's just getting faster and faster and you're just trying to keep up? That's the core tension we're really going to unpack here.
First up, let's just talk about this really strange paradox that so many firms face. That moment when winning a new client kind of feels like you're losing. That right there is the problem with growth, when you're not ready for it.
Look, winning new business should be a celebration, right? But what happens way too often is it just means tighter deadlines, bigger piles of work, and your best people, your partners, are getting dragged away from high-value advisory work just to put out operational fires. It's like your own success is actively working against you.
So why does this happen? Well, this strain, it isn't from a lack of talent or a lack of effort. It's actually a symptom of a much deeper structural problem. Let's call it the hidden operational gap.
The first and, honestly, the most obvious sign is the review bottleneck. The work gets done, but then it just sits there, right? Waiting for an overloaded partner or a senior manager to finally get to it. Progress just grinds to a halt, and pretty soon, your clients start asking questions.
And here's where it really hurts. Your most experienced, your most strategic thinkers, they're spending their precious time bogged down in routine compliance and admin tasks instead of delivering the high-value advice that truly sets your firm apart and, builds that client loyalty. So, does every single tax season feel more chaotic than the one before? That is a huge red flag. It means the firm's rigid, in-house staffing model just can't flex to handle the surge in demand. And that leads to burnout and, frankly, a much higher risk of making mistakes. So what's the solution here? Well, the smartest firms, they're not just putting band-aids on these problems. No, they're getting way out ahead of them by changing the fundamental question they ask before they even chase new growth. This right here, it's a simple but really profound shift. It's moving from a sales-first mindset to an operations-first one. It means you ask, hey, can we actually handle this work? Before you ask, how can we go out and win this work? It's really the difference between building on a solid foundation versus building on sand.
And this is exactly how you create that operational breathing room. The answer isn't some last-ditch effort just to stay afloat. It's about using strategic offshore support to build a foundation for your growth, adding that capacity before it becomes a full-blown crisis.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in practice? What specific core work are we talking about moving offshore to create all this breathing room? And listen, we are not talking about fringe administrative tasks here. This is about the core, process-driven work in both accounting and tax. We're talking everything from bookkeeping and financial statement prep to the really detailed compilation of tax work papers. These are the exact tasks that create those internal bottlenecks we were just talking about.
For so many U.S. firms, India is the top strategic hub. And why is that? Well, it's not just about cost, it's about capability. You've got this massive talent pool that's already trained in U.S. GAAP and IRS rules. Plus, that time zone difference can create a 24-hour work cycle, which means work is actually progressing even while your U.S. team is asleep. It's a game changer.
Now, let's tackle the number one concern, the biggest one that understandably comes up whenever you talk about this stuff, that fear of losing control. Control over quality, and of course, control over that all-important client relationship.
This is such a critical point. The goal of a modern strategic outsourcing model is not to just give away responsibility or lose control. It's actually the opposite. It's all about delegating the execution of tasks while you actually strengthen your firm's oversight and your strategic direction.
So here's the bottom line. Your firm keeps authority over everything that truly matters. You have the final review and approval. You own the client relationship 100%. And you are the one setting the strategic direction and the quality standards. The offshore team, they simply execute within that framework. It gives you more leverage, not less control. Okay, so when you successfully get rid of this operational drag from your firm, you finally unlock your most valuable and, let's face it, your most finite asset, the time and the brain power of your senior team.
Let's be super clear. Compliance work is the bedrock of any CPA firm. It has to get done, and it's got to be perfect. But It's not what drives premium fees and those long-term, sticky client relationships. Advisory services, that's what does it. Freeing your best people from the daily grind of routine tasks lets them focus on the work that truly builds your firm's value.
With all this newfound time, your partners can finally move from just chasing down documents to providing actual strategic guidance. They can focus on forward-looking planning, they can develop new service lines, and they can spend quality time deepening those client relationships. This is the real key to growing revenue without just piling on more and more stress.
At the end of the day, building a strong operational foundation isn't just about fixing today's problems. It's really about creating the capacity to build the future of your firm. So the real question isn't just how you're going to survive the next tax season. It's what could you truly achieve if all that operational friction just vanished? What would you build next?